Everything in this video was paid for by me. I am not a YouTuber that makes a lot of videos, just every now and then. I make one on something I have bought, if I feel there isn't enough info out there on the subject. I'm just posting this for anyone is interested. I am not an expert in any way. At this time I only have Americium-241. I got from a smoke detector to do this with and a radiation card from United Nuclear. I believe the radiation source on the card is uranium ore dust and epoxy. Uranium ore is mostly a beta source and very weak on gamma. Americium-241 mostly puts out alpha radiation, but it also puts out weak beta and gamma radiation, which is what these radiation detectors are detecting. The video is broken down as follows. Many of the GQ Geiger counters use the M4011 tube. Some, like mine, use the J305 tube as you can see in the chart above. They are the same in everything except in length. I have seen photos where other people had J305 tubes that were shorter. Mine is 107 mm as stated in that stats listed above. Here I'm testing the original configuration with the J305 tube wrapped in a black film with an Americium-241 sample I got from a smoke detector. I sped the video up by 400%, so you can see the whole time I had the unit on the sample. I do not advise or in any way am I suggesting that you should break into smoke detectors to get Americium-241. For one thing, not all smoke detectors have them, and it is a radiation source that can cause harm. Here I'm testing the original configuration, without, the J305 tube wrapped in a black film, with an Americium-241 sample. Again, I sped the video up by 400%, so you can see the whole time I had the unit on the sample. Here I'm testing the GMC-300S with a SBM-20 Geiger Muller tube I bought from Amazon. Again, the sample is Americium-241. Again, I sped the video up by 400%, so you can see the whole time I had the unit on the sample. SBM-20 tubes are old, new Soviet stock Geiger Muller tubes. They are not subject to a light source producing false readings, and they are more sensitive than the M4011 and J305 tubes. The voltages for the GQ GMC-300S Geiger counter are right in the range of the SBM-20, and since my J305 tube was 107 mm, the SBM-20 tube dropped right in. This is the better Geiger, S-1. It does not use a Geiger tube like the GMC-300S Geiger counter. It uses a solid scintillator to detect radiation, whereas Geiger counters like the GMC-300S read the counts and produce a rads or sieverts result from the counts. The S-1 can tell whether the hit was weak or strong, giving a more accurate rad or sievert result. Later in the video, I use the radiation card from United Nuclear to compare the S-1 with the GMC-300S, with the SBM-20 tube installed. Notice the low sieverts per hour reading on the S1. Even though the count per minute are more than twice the result of the tube configurations, the S1 shows a much lower sieverts per hour result. This is because GM tubes simply are measuring hits, whereas the scintillator is measuring hit and the intensity of the hit. This is why Americium-241 produced a higher count, but also a lower sieverts per hour result. Americium-241 produces mostly alpha radiation, but it also produces weak beta and gamma, which is what these Geiger counters are reading. The S1 is more accurate in its result. Here are my results using the Americium 241. The following is a comparison of the better Geiger S1 and the GMC-300S with the SBM20 tube installed. I'm using a radioactive source from United Nuclear. I believe it's uranium or dust mixed with epoxy. I believe this comparison is show a weakness with the S1. To be honest, I was not expecting these results from using the radiation card from United Nuclear. At first, I thought the sample on the card was bad, but the GMC-300S responded much more strongly. I sent an email to Better Geiger asking them to explain this result. Following this clip is my exchange with Better Geiger. From what I've come to understand is that the uranium ore is more of a beta source and weak in gamma. Geiger tubes respond to this more than the scintillator on the S1. However, the S1 results in sieverts is probably more accurate than the Geiger tube units because it isn't just reading the counts per minute, but also if the hit was weak or strong. Something that I think people should understand is that no Geiger counter is accurately giving you sieverts or rads per hour or minute, unless the Geiger counter is calibrated to the type of source you are trying to read. Feel free to pause and read my exchange with Better Geiger. As for my thoughts on the two units in this video, I am glad I bought both of them. The GMC-300S seems well made for a unit that only cost me around $67. I got it on a flash sale from Amazon. I wish it used AA batteries, but the rechargeable battery it comes with seems to last a good while. It does not feel as tough as the S1, but I don't think it needs to. If you want something that basically tells you that something is radioactive, I think the GMC-300S does that job. I do, however, very much recommend the SBM20 tube. The better Geiger S1 feels tougher and could take a fall. From what I understand about Geiger counters now, the S1 will give much more accurate results. However, I was a bit disappointed how it reacted to the radiation card from United Nuclear. The person or people at Better Geiger have responded to all my messages and did so in a timely manner. The S1 uses AA batteries, which I really like. It lacks a lot of the bells and whistles that other Geiger counters boast, but I don't think you need those anyway. The S1 is simple to use. Anyone could pick it up and within a second or two know how to use it. What really sets these two units apart is how sensitive they are to certain radiation sources. The S1 is geared more for gamma radiation. Although it can get results from beta, it won't be as sensitive. The GMC-300S is not nearly as accurate as the S1, but it does give you readings to say there is or is not radiation. For a lot of people that is all you really need.